When it comes to creating the visual parts of a UI in SwiftUI, there are two fundamental features that you need to understand before you can start constructing your own UI. These are scenes and views. Views in particular are one of the most important topics for iOS development. In this video, you will learn what scenes and views are in SwiftUI and the differences between them. You will explore views in more detail, including how views can be organized in rows, columns, or grids, and discover some of the different types of views. A scene can be described as a kind of container for other elements such as windows or views. A scene can hold multiple views in any configuration or distribution intended to be used by multiple Apple platforms like iPad, iPhone, Mac, or Apple TV. The system will decide what is the best way to display the elements according to the platform. And when you create a scene in SwiftUI, the way that scene and its elements are organized and displayed in the UI will depend on the operating system and the device that it's published on. For example, on an iPhone, a scene can be designed to separate its elements across screens to cater to a smaller screen size. Here a list is shown on one screen and the details for the list items open on another screen. On an iPad, this same scene may appear with all its elements on one screen as two columns, side by side, without any extra work required by the developer. That's how a scene and SwiftUI declarative syntax work. You define everything generically, and the system adapts the content to the screen characteristics of the device being used. An example of some simple code that can be used to define a scene is displayed on screen. Window group is a scene, and that scene contains a view called Content View. Now let's explore views in more detail. Views are more complex elements compared to scenes. Almost everything that is shown on the screen in SwiftUI is a view. Texts, text fields, images and shapes, such as rectangles, round rectangles, ellipses, circles and more, are all classed as views. Being the most important elements of an app, views have a great number of properties that can be adjusted. This means that views, such as images, texts and shapes, can have different properties like rotation, opacity, colors, borders, shadows and masks. Here is a circle with different colors and borders, one circle with a border and another one with a rectangular mask applied. These properties can also be applied to text, as well as font variations like colors, sizes and styles such as bold, italic, light italic and so on. Here's an image with rounded corners, borders and rotation. Emojis are considered regular images by SwiftUI. The same effects and modifiers applied to shapes and images can also be applied to emojis. Emojis can also be appended to text strings, as you will discover later in this course. In addition to having many properties, views can be combined and aligned on a horizontal distribution, on a vertical distribution, or in a grid distribution. The possibilities are endless. Another great feature of views is that they are reusable. As a result, once you've created a view and defined its properties, it can be reused any number of times in the same app or across multiple applications. Now, let's demonstrate how to create an independent view that can be reused in SwiftUI. To create a new file, select File, New, and then File, or press Command-N on your keyboard. A window will open in which you can select a template for your new file. Ensure you're in the iOS tab, and in the User Interface menu, select SwiftUI View as your template, and then click Next. You need to enter a name for your new view. I've named it My View, and then click Create. Now you have a new file, myview.swift in the left panel, and the contents of this new file should be displayed in the main part of the screen. Let's change the text string here to something else. This change should be reflected in Xcode's preview panel. Now, let's demonstrate how to reuse your view somewhere else. You can open another file in the same project. I have opened the file Content View, and within the VStack closure, type the view name followed by opening and closing parenthesis. Now, your new view has been added to the view of this file in the Content view on the right. In this video, you learned what scenes and views are, the differences between them, and their importance during application development. You've explored a small sample of the huge variety of views and modifiers that are available to make an app look exactly as you want. Later in this course, you will learn how to combine, use, reuse, and modify scenes and views using code.